Good morning and welcome to Essential Ingredients. I'm your host, Justine Reichman, and today with me is Ashley. Ashley is not just an amazing designer, jewelry designer, but she's also a good friend. So I'm super excited to have you here today, Ashley.
Oh, Justine, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I've been such a fan, and it's such an honor to be on your podcast today.
Oh, well, I'm a fan too of yours. Like, can I be fangirl right now? For those tuning in, I've taken every diamond that I've had from a family member and turned them into things that I can wear with Ashley. So I really wanted to share with you guys, with the people listening and tuning in today, how to create a sustainable jewelry collection. Not everything, of course, but for me, it was more meaningful to tap into some of those pieces that came from family members and then create something that I wanted to wear. So I talked to Ashley, and this is the core of her business, and she really creates beautiful heirloom pieces. And not only does it allow you to have beautiful jewelry, it allows you to do this with stones that you already have, or keeping in mind where you're getting these stones to think sustainably. So Ashley, if you could just tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about Ashley Morgan Designs.
Sure. So I moved to San Francisco 25 years ago and attended the Revere Academy. And at that academy, I got my master's in goldsmithing. I also did gemology and diamond grading courses and have really had such a wonderful career over the last 25 years within this industry. So from working with retailers like Bloomingdale's, Neiman Marcus, to then transferring most of my bulk of business to private clients. We have a store in Ross, as you know, and that store not only highlights jewelry and working with custom pieces, but we also try to highlight different local businesses and creators. So we have a really great collection of ceramics and perfumes, makeup, paintings, photography. It's a really beautiful space.
It is. I've been there myself. I can agree with that because I've been there. And the space also allows to bring people together and to focus and highlight those local artisans. Um, and, I'm not sure about the ethos of each one of them. I know I've met a bunch of them, and they're all wonderful and so talented. And what a community builder you are for bringing everyone together. I love that. And I've been so grateful to be part of that even.
You are part of that. It's so wonderful to have a group of women who are just creating and starting businesses and doing these wonderful things in our community. So it's a great space to hold that.
Yeah, and I think the other, part of this is that, with the holiday market that you have coming up and knowing a little bit about your business, it was an opportunity as to go a little bit deeper with you and with some of the people in the community around how they're building out more sustainable businesses more thoughtfully. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit about how you built your business and how you went from, making things for Neiman Marcus and Barney's and Nordstrom and the litany of other places, and how that transitioned to what you're doing today and the role that sustainability plays in it.
Well, it's so interesting how life takes you down a path that you think is closed. And with me, we had our jewelry in retailers during the pandemic. And one of the sad things for most designers is you had a bulk of inventory locked up in a mall that no one was visiting. And that became a problem because we had all of our inventory out and I didn't have anything to work with. So out of just having time, I of course started like looking through all my gemstones and my closet and old jewelry. And for myself, I started recreating pieces. And then we became kind of clever 6 months into the pandemic. We're like, I bet a lot of people are cleaning out their closets and a lot of people are wanting to be connecting with people or have heirlooms that have been passed down that they're just sitting there. So we started doing these campaigns saying, if you guys have any time to clean out your closet and send us your gold and stones, we can figure out how to work together. And that grew into quite a big business that really sustained me during that time. And I just fell in love with getting to know people, to hearing their stories about their family members who had gifted them their gemstones and diamonds, or gold, and it it's such a beautiful practice for people. There's a lot of alchemy in storytelling.
Mhm.
I love writing, and so I find the sentiment in these pieces being passed down and recreated to be just such a wonderful experience with clients, like what we did with your ring, your ruby and diamond ring.
This one.
Yes.
Yes.
So similar, I can tell everyone about that story is Justine has, if you know Justine, she has like an impeccable eye, incredible taste. So of course Justine had a few heirloom kind of style antique pieces that she liked the style of. She brought me these ruby and diamonds, and we went through a whole process. We had a lot of coffee together and talked about like how she wants to wear it, what it would look like, and we really made a bespoke piece for her specifically around her family's diamonds. That was such a wonderful project. It starts usually with a sketch, and then we went into CAD, and then you get a wax sample. And so I really get to know people through this process. And that's how I met a dear friend, which was wonderful.
It was wonderful for me too. I mean, I made a dear friend, and I also got to make this beautiful piece, which was a ring that my mom had given me because she felt that she was too grown up for it because it was too little. So, and when she bought it, it was bought at an estate jewelry store
Oh,
in upstate New York. So it originally was estate jewelry, and then it became part of my mom's. So for me, that was really meaningful. It allowed me to maintain something my mom had, carry it with me, wear it in my own way, and still have a piece of me, a piece of her, not a piece of me, a piece of her with me. And she loved it when I showed it to her in the end. She thought it was just beautiful. And it's more meaningful, I think. Not more meaningful. I mean, I always find meaning behind jewelry when it's given to me. I'm very sentimental like that. Um, but this was meaningful because I repurposed her diamonds. I repurposed the ring. I repurposed the gold or the platinum, whatever it was. Um, and so as a result, you're not going back to get more diamonds, and you're not going to go get metal, and you're not taking more resources to make something necessarily. So I'm curious because this started during COVID. I love the innovation behind that, and it actually is very sustainable. What was your thought about that as you were doing it? Was that intentional? Was that a bonus? And as you built it, and the impact you were having by doing it this way.
well, I'm my mind is very practical and also a little bit in the dream world, and so I think it's a good marriage of both. With gold at $4,300 an ounce, and people have old chains that they're just sitting in their closets that are out of style and out of date. It just seems really practical for us to bring them to a refinery, have them refined into 24 karat gold, and then alloy them ourselves so that you have the beautiful ingot of gold that we can cast with the new design. So that I think is just a practical way of resourcing valued goods that have and hold and sustain their value. Um, with gemstones and sapphires, we've taken beautiful like 10 karat sapphires that have maybe a scratch or um, a chip on them, and you can recut them and repurpose them, and then their value will go up incredibly. So I think with fine jewelry, they do hold it does hold their value, and it's really nice to make pieces as beautiful as you can with the stones that we have. We also, of course, can source stones and gemstones from vendors for clients. If there's usually it's a hybrid of both an heirloom and the recycled gold, and then we will also source different stones to kind of um, create a piece together. So I think sustainability where you can is always an important resource to go to first. And then of course, within our vendors and within our industry, you can buy recycled gold that has already been on the market that you buy. So we can do it that way. But yes, of course, I think sustainability and this earth gives us such precious resources, and it's nice to maintain and take care of the earth as well for
Yeah.
their children and the children to come. So
I agree. So you mentioned a variety of things that piqued my interest, and one of them, as you're sitting there, you were talking about was repurposing or buying antique stones to use that were already used. So if I was the customer, or the customer was listening to us, or somebody that just decided this is the way they want to go with their jewelry, what are some of the questions that they could ask to make sure that they better understand what kind of stones they're getting, what kind of gold they're getting? Because I've gone to a million stores, like a little estate store, and a lot of these people are not gemologists, right? They're curating a variety of estate jewelry pieces. So, what are some of the things that people can ask so that they can know what they're getting and what should they look for?
So I'll kind of back into how we work. When a client comes to us and they have a pile of gold or they have gemstones, we have a lab that we take in and we measure and we give them a spreadsheet of exact material that they've been given that we have taken in. What the diamonds look like, what the gemstones look like, what we advise, and the costs that go for it. So I think full transparency with any person that you're working with fine jewelry and gold is so important. So if you were to recycle your gold, I would say make sure you see what the ounce, how many ounces you're giving them. Make sure you have it tested. So if it's $4,400 an ounce today, and you give them 18 karat gold and you're giving them 10 ounces, that can be a really significant paycheck that you're giving somebody. So we always are full disclosure. They get the lab report. I think that's really important to work with a trusted advisor in that circumstance. And then when you're going to purchase stones, you can have, again, like back into the science of it, we can figure out where like if it's an emerald, we can say like the exact mine it's from, just from going and testing the stones. When we buy from a stone, we always usually have a certification, or at least we have a certified report that we give you that can verify what it is that you're buying and where it came from. So I would say that the most important things is like the W's, right? Like who, what, when, where. All of those questions are really important when you're going to invest in a gemstone or in gold or in a diamond. Most of the stones that we sell to clients will have a certification to them. So they're backed through a third party. And then once we finish the project, we always have a third party appraisal done so that they can kind of verify the report of what they were given and what we made together and what they have and the value of it. So with fine jewelry, it's really important to have it reported and have certifications throughout the process.
I think that's a really good tip for a lot of people because I don't know that people think that through completely. And I would not know the first thing about going to how to sell my jewelry and how to figure out what I have. So that's a great resource. And I wanted to continue or further touch on something else you mentioned, um, buying diamonds. So there's a choice when you're buying new diamonds, and you're trying to collaborate with both the existing ones that you have that maybe came from family heirlooms, and then fill in with new diamonds that you have. For cost purposes, many people talk about lab grown diamonds. I know that the way that they mine them is a little bit different. I think that's a correct statement to make. And so, can you talk a little bit about that and the role of sustainability or lack of sustainability in lab grown diamonds so that people can make a more informed choice?
So with lab grown diamonds versus natural mined diamonds, I look at those two as separate entities for sure. One is sustainable because the mined diamonds are 3 to 4 billion years old, and they're a natural resource from the earth, and it sustains value. So the value of the diamond has never decreased. It's part of the pure economics of the jewelry business. Um, they can be recut, recertified. You can have them more as an heirloom. Where lab grown diamonds, once you purchase lab grown diamonds, I tell my client there is really no resale value after that. So when the lab grown diamond is made, it's made in an incubator, and it pulls from natural resources as like cobalt or different minerals from the earth. So, and a lot of electricity and water is used to make a lab grown diamond. So as far as sustainability, it's still pulling off of mined resources in order to make these lab grown diamonds.
Mhm.
So if it's pure sustainability, I would say going with a mined natural diamond is for me what I would choose to do. And or I would take an heirloom stone. We can actually help purchase heirloom diamonds for you. So there's a market like that as well. That then we can recut, repurpose, recertify. We can take it to GIA and get a full report done on it. One of my favorite projects that I did was a champagne pink argyle mined diamond. And we bought it not certified, but then after I made the ring, we had it certified from GIA, and we found out it came from the Australian argyle mine that erupted 3.6 billion years ago. And when it erupted, all these pink diamonds flew into the air. So that was one of the diamonds that we were able to source. It's so fun. I mean, I just love the mystery around natural minerals and gemstones from our earth. I think it's so beautiful. So, I mean, there's multiple ways to go. I think just working with someone that's really honest and transparent in helping you make the decision that's right for your family, and maybe budget is the number one priority and having an overall book, then it's I work with my clients to help source that for them. Or if it's something that they want to pull and have like more of a story, like the Argyle Mine diamond and a beautiful piece. I mean, this is a gorgeous 5 carat pink champagne diamond. It was so fun to actually source and get. And that couple is so thrilled with what they found and just the story behind it as well.
I mean, just listening to the story, I mean, it's so cool. Like to think it's really cool, the history behind it, but it's like the same thing with the family thing. It's the history. Every time I wear one of my rings, um, I love to tell the story of the ring. The ring started off as somebody else's, my dad's girlfriend of 20 years. She sent it to me on my 50th birthday, and it looked like a princess ring, or it looked like an engagement ring with a big sapphire in the middle. And then I brought it to you, and you made the most amazing ring. And I get to tell everybody about the feeling it gives me having had the ring that my dad gave to somebody, and that she gave it to me,
Yeah.
and that I get to wear it. Like to me, that's so amazing. And equally, I mean, I could get behind a story where my diamonds came from, something like that too. Like it's amazing to know where you're getting your things. So when you look forward at the jewelry industry, the diamond industry, and with sustainability being so integral in our future in so many ways, I think people are trying to integrate it into their lives, into health, into the planet, into the fashion, beauty, you name it, and even jewelry. How do you think, or what do you see for the future of these lab grown diamonds? They've come in, they've made it more affordable, but they're also taking more resources. Do you have an opinion on that or an idea?
So I believe that just like gold, it is a value that will always maintain its value. And when the market is unreliable, people turn towards gold. I think with diamonds, diamonds will always hold their value in not only the wearer's heart and emotionally, I think that will hold its value within the market as well. You see diamonds always increase, especially the nicer value of a diamond. The more rare a diamond is, the higher the value will maintain and sustain over time. Um, I think lab grown diamonds, because of the pure economics of it, I they're with technology, they're easier to trace, right? That this is a oil lab grown diamond. We can even tell what type of the crystal that they're putting in to mine this piece. Mine meaning like incubate the
Mhm.
piece. So I think that those they just will not maintain a value to them. they'll look great, but you're not buying it so that it will last forever or that it will be something you pass down to generations.
Does it remind you at all? And I could be far off base here, but I remember when I was a kid, and when people didn't want to wear their big diamonds, they bought zirconium. Zirconium? Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
Cubic zirconiums, something like that.
I think in the 90s, cubic zirconium is just like glass, but I remember there was something called a moissanite that came onto the market, and it had a high reflective value, and it just that was a trend
It
that
was a
faded.
trend. So
It
you
was
don't think that lab grown is necessarily a trend. It sort of fills a spot in the market, a void in the market for people that maybe, are budget conscious, or maybe not necessarily budget conscious, but budget and have a certain aesthetic that they're after. Because even if you want to spend less, you can get a smaller diamond. But if you want a really big diamond, lab grown is going to be less expensive. And you think that seems like there's still a market for that, is what I'm hearing.
I think there will always be a market for that. It's like fast fashion to me. You know, you can buy and purchase and keep growing these pieces quickly. So I think that there will always be a market for it, but I don't necessarily think it's a good investment.
Right. And I also think the impact it has on the planet is not ideal. And in this day and age where everybody or a lot of people are trying to make more informed choices and do things that are better for the planet, we're learning, right? Whether it's about agriculture and food and fashion, how to integrate waste or unused or recycled or reclaimed things into these different areas. So that's where the question came from, and I wondered, and I guess maybe we don't know. We'll have to wait and see, because I do think there is a place for fast fashion and these things. I just hate for it to be the bulk of it. I wish things were just a little bit more accessible all around, or there was a way to find something more accessible. And when we're talking about diamonds, it just means you buy smaller, or you use something that you have.
I would say if your number one goal is to make and create a sustainable piece for the environmental, like an environmental friendly piece, what I would do is I would collect all the gold or little findings I have. I would then bring it to me and have it recycled. So we're using the metal that came from your family and we can recycle it and make it brand new. And then try to make a design that feels sentimental and beautiful and customized and bespoke to your personality and how you like wearing things, and just make that a really precious piece that you own. And whatever stones you have, we can recut or reuse, or we can help you find pieces on the market that have been worn and used, and we can make a sustainable piece that way. I do work in other realms of the industry. But if a client came to me and said, sustainability, like you, this is a sustainable piece that I want to tell a story with my family heirloom. Let's recycle the gold and use these. And we ended up making a stellar piece that was perfectly sustainable and beautiful with all the resources you had. So the alchemy in that is so beautiful. So it's just sustainability, storytelling, and a gorgeous design. And we nailed that project. It's amazing. I'm so proud of it. So yes, it's definitely something I think people should be excited about. Because we do have a lot of heirlooms in either your family's vault, or you can find them on in the world, you know.
I was gonna say, even like I have an old pinky ring that was like a heart with a tiny diamond in it. I
Yeah,
can't wear that anymore. Like it doesn't fit. Like my fingers are little, but they're not that little. But it's still gold and it's still a diamond. And if I had a little girl, I'd probably give it to her. If I had a goddaughter, I'd probably give it to her. But my godson is not going to wear that little pinky ring. So I think you can find. What I'm trying to say is, like, we collect things over time that we anticipate we're going to use or wear or give away, and we can lean into those items
for
to
sure.
leverage those resources before going to get new resources.
Yes, and there's always a marriage of both. If want the medium path of using the pieces you have, but then maybe wanting to add a little bit to it. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I think a lot of designers will probably end up doing a little bit of recycling with their collections that have not been sold because gold's so expensive, and you're seeing pieces you made that are retailing at $1,000 that cost like $3,000 in gold now, so you're going to want to recycle some of the pieces you've made if they haven't sold and make something new. So it can be a clean practice and more sustainable. And I'm really happy that I've been able to find a way to work with clients and showcase that part of the industry as well.
Yeah, and I'm so happy to be able to share that with our listeners because, if I'm curious and I want to know, there's other people that are curious about it too, and maybe even give them a new way of thinking about it. Maybe it's not what they thought about. Maybe they didn't think about the impact. Maybe they didn't think about leveraging what they have or repurposing it instead of just having it sit there. So I think it gives people an opportunity to be curious.
Well, the curiosity is so important because the truth is you basically are just recycling pure materials and getting to create whatever you want out of it. So it's not something that's old and you're kind of just like, you know, putting a band-aid on it. You're actually creating your own piece that's custom to you. So it can be beautiful and bespoke and one of a kind. It's a really fun process.
Awesome. So the good thing about Ashley is Ashley doesn't just work in Ross. She works all over the world. She has clients everywhere. So we have an audience that is everywhere. So I just wanted to make sure that people know that just because you have your atelier in Ross doesn't mean that you're not in Boston or New York or LA or Texas or Florida at times to meet with clients to help them go into their jewelry boxes and see what they can create. So Ashley, if they wanted to learn more about how to connect with you, what would be the best way?
Our website, it's ashleyMorganDesigns.com. We can definitely go onto the website. There's some information about the custom process, or we can do a quick consult Zoom phone call and talk about what it is that you have. We have a form you could submit and show us the pieces you have, and then we can kind of take those. We have an insured shipping um, company that helps us, and then we send it to the lab, and then you get your full report before we do anything to your pieces, and then we can go through the design process together.
So this November, like last year, you are doing a holiday market, and the holiday market was so much fun last year. You had a variety of different vendors, all that were local, and I think they were mostly women, if I
We have
recall.
one man this year, which I'm so proud of. His name is
Wow,
Tom Youngs. He's a ceramic artist. He's a good friend of ours who, by day, works on wood floors, but in the evening has an amazing talent for sculpting pottery. So he's going to join us. So
awesome!
the only male creator that we have this year.
But
Um,
there are men that turn up, not to be worried. The men turn up. It's great for gifts. It's a great place to go support, those other people that are working there as well and to support the community. We bought a lot of great things there last year. And it's also a chance to get to even see Ashley and learn about some of the jewelry if maybe that's part of the gift giving you want to make this year. Um, but, some of the highlights photography, maybe you can just name a few.
Mika Street, who is an amazing photographer from Ren, will be there. We have Linda Wegman, who is an oil on canvas artist, sells to multiple galleries, beautiful artist. We have Heather Soicher, who is also a ceramic artist. She does these really beautiful wisdom owls with poems inside. So they're
Mm,
very sweet, sentimental storytelling piece. Of course, we have Daniela from Farmhouse Labs. She was on a guest on your show. Uh,
yes.
we have Nicolette. It's a store on Magnolia Street.
Yeah,
She's
in Larkspur.
in Larkspur. She's bringing her pieces. Freya is a hat brand, handbags. We have Kenlin. If you know Kenlin, she's
Yeah.
incredible. She does hand knitted sweaters and dresses. Really incredible artist. Uh, we have Saint Jane Cosmetics.
Awesome. So you're not going to want to miss this. We will make sure to add those links. I don't know that it will be all encompassing in case she gets new ones. I don't want anybody to think that we're not putting them in. but you can stay tuned to stay up to date on what's going on because I'll make sure to add them in our stories on Instagram if Ashley lets me know. So for those folks, if you want to follow us on Instagram, it's at justine.reichman or at essential.ingredients. And Ashley, thank you so much for joining me today. It was so fun. I got quite an education, and I'm even more inspired now to dig through that box of jewels that I have that I got from my mother that I had from New York that I haven't gone through yet. So thank you so much. And I
Thank
want
you
to
for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And I want to thank our listeners and our viewers that tune in each week because without you, we wouldn't have a community. So it's our guests and it's our listeners and viewers that really make this special and what makes it worthwhile. So thank you guys again.